somebody, then you tend to fall in love with somebody else. It's kind of difficult. Is it such thing as loving two people? I don't know.
The internet is going crazy right now because Chris Brown is straight up losing it after the shocking bombshell that Karrueche Tran and Deion Sanders supposedly tied the knot in secret. And if that wasn't enough, the whispers are getting louder that she's pregnant. With twins. This isn't just some low-key family news. This is the kind of drama that's got everyone locked in like it's the biggest reality show of the year. Chris has been salty ever since people found out that Karrueche and Deion were an item, throwing shade every chance he gets. But now, things just hit a whole new level. With marriage rumors already swirling and baby gossip dropping left and right, Chris's frustration has turned into what fans are calling a full-on meltdown. The timing couldn't be worse for him either, because the way he's firing off those subliminal posts aimed at Karrueche and Deion has people convinced he's about to explode in the messiest way possible. One thing about Chris Brown, he always makes time to come for his exes. No matter how busy he is, he'll pop up with shade, and right now, Karrueche is in the crosshairs. Their breakup was years ago, but clearly, he hasn't let it go. A few days back, the rumor mill started buzzing that Karrueche had secretly gotten married to her man, Deion Sanders Sr. The internet nearly broke when fans spotted what looked like a red ring shining on her finger, and suddenly everyone was convinced the marriage was real. But that's not all. As fans were busy connecting the dots and stacking up receipts, Chris was already spiraling out of control. And just when he probably thought things couldn't get worse, another insider came forward saying Karrueche isn't just happily married. She's also pregnant with twins. Yep, twins.
We are at the hospital because we are dealing with okay. We were dealing with bladder cancer. And he is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
Texting the boys. It's their first day of practice today, and I'm excited.
People online are calling this the ultimate double plot twist, while Chris is left looking like he's about to blow a fuse. A source close to the couple revealed that Karrueche and Deion decided it was finally time to build a family of their own after his scary cancer battle. Remember that emotional video Deion shared when he opened up about his diagnosis? Karrueche wasn't just sitting in the background. She was right there front and center, breaking down as she described how terrifying the whole journey had been. And while Deion kept a calm face for the cameras, Karrueche made it crystal clear this fight wasn't just his, it was theirs. She was pulling up to doctor's appointments, checking in with his trainer, and stepping into every single supportive partner role there was. That's a heavy load for any relationship, but instead of taking it slow like most couples, they went straight from private dating to hospitals, surgeries, and recovery. It's not the typical fairy tale romance, but it bonded them in a way that clearly made their connection unshakable. And let's just say, it definitely brought them close, because now she's allegedly married and pregnant with twins. But here's where the story gets messy. Fans are divided about this union because Deion Sanders has a long track record when it comes to relationships. And messy might be putting it lightly. He divorced his first wife, Carolyn Chambers, after having 3 kids together, then married Pilar Sanders, and had 2 more children before that ended in an explosive split. After the divorce, he dragged Pilar through the mud in court, accusing her of being unstable while fighting her tooth and nail for custody. Then came Tracy Edmonds, who he dated for 7 years before finally proposing, only to call off the engagement in 2023 after over a decade together. And just when everyone thought Deion was done with long-term romances, word got out that Karrueche was the new woman in his life. And from the looks of things, she might just be the one who turned his whole world upside down. A lot of people warned Karrueche that she was walking straight into heartbreak with Deion, but if she's smiling, her fans are willing to let her have her fairy tale. The only one who can't deal with it is Chris Brown, who's been spiraling nonstop since the second this news broke. Word in the streets is he's been trying to slide his way back into Karrueche's life for a while now, convinced he still had a chance. But reality just smacked him in the face. She's clearly not checking for him anymore, and that realization has him unraveling fast. What makes it even crazier is that Chris acting surprised doesn't make sense at all, given how messy he was with her from the jump. Karrueche and Chris first linked up in 2011, back when she was hustling in fashion and trying to push her modeling career. They clicked quick, and by March, they were already going public. But the crack showed almost instantly, because within a year, Chris was already tangled back up with his ex, Rihanna. By early 2012, Chris and Rihanna had rekindled things, which threw Karrueche into the middle of pure chaos. Rihanna's diehard fans were dragging her non-stop, and the backlash was brutal. Chris eventually broke it off with Karrueche, but the way he did it had everybody giving him the side eye. He said, "I love Karrueche very much, but I don't want to see her hurt over my friendship with Rihanna. I'd rather be single, allowing us both to be happy in our own lives." But instead of quietly moving on, he dropped a whole promo video telling the world he was in love with both Rihanna and Karrueche at the same time. Talk about messy. And just like that, his so-called loyalty was already in question. But by May 2013, things with Rihanna had fizzled out, and, like clockwork, Chris went running right back to Karrueche. The wild part, she took him back without hesitation. Within weeks, they were living together again like none of the drama had ever happened. Of course, history repeated itself. Chris ended up in rehab. Then rumors hit that he hooked up with one of the staff members, which eventually landed him back in prison. On top of that, more reports came out that he was texting multiple women behind Karrueche's back. That was when she finally pulled the plug. But even then, their relationship became a toxic loop. Every time she caught him sneaking around, they'd have explosive fights, and Chris would hop on social media to throw shade at her. And somehow, someway, the cycle just kept spinning. No matter how many times they broke up, Karrueche and Chris always seemed to circle back until the day she hit her breaking point. The final straw came when Karrueche discovered Chris had cheated yet again, this time with model Nia Guzman. But it wasn't just a fling. He had a whole baby with her. And the most humiliating part? Karrueche didn't even hear it from him. She found out online, the same way the rest of the world did. That was the day she completely lost it. She fired off a now iconic tweet saying, "Listen, one can only take so much. Best of luck to Chris and his family. No baby drama for me. Looks like I'm a single lady again." That was her mic drop moment. From there, Karrueche started focusing on her career, working non-stop and slowly piecing her life back together. She even dipped into dating again, but of course Chris couldn't handle seeing her move on. Every time she was spotted with someone new, he went off the rails with jealousy. In 2015, Chris sat down with Ryan Seacrest, telling the world he was finally ready to own up to his mistakes and take responsibility for his actions. Meanwhile, Karrueche was doing her own interviews, keeping it classy but making it very clear she had no interest in going back. But Chris couldn't stand it. He hopped online, ranting about how she kept bringing him up. He posted, "Honestly, it's so pointless to keep doing interviews about me. Talk about your career. If there's no more relationship, then you shouldn't be doing interviews with people. I won't let you get the pleasure of prying into my personal life. It's starting to get real weak." But Karrueche wasn't about to let him flip the script. She clapped back with pure heat, saying, "They asked a question, And as a mature adult, I answered, I'm not going to shy away from something I lived through. I'm talking about my life and experiences. I'm not speaking on you or bashing you like I easily could. Don't be mad at me because our relationship is overdue to your lack of loyalty. You know what's weak? You forcing yourself in my car, my broken window, blowing up my phone, trying to shower me with gifts. Man up and change that in your life like I've told you several times. Who you? She aired him out for the whole world to see. And Chris? He immediately folded. He turned around and admitted he was still in love with her, posting, I'm eternally thankful for you being a part of my life. I've learned so much from you. I wish you nothing but happiness and the best at Karrueche. All I was doing was trying to fight for the woman I love. The meltdown was real, and the receipts were undeniable. The chaos didn't stop there. If anything, it got darker. Chris allegedly started stalking Karrueche, watching her every move, and even threatening her and her family. By 2017, she had reached her breaking point and went straight to court to request a restraining order. In her testimony, Karrueche revealed that things turned violent when Chris demanded she return the diamond rings he had given her. When she refused, he allegedly fired off a string of threatening texts that shook everybody to their core. But it went even further. Court documents showed that Karrueche accused Chris of threatening to harm her, harass her friends, and even worse. She claimed that around February, he was telling people, if no one else can have her, I'm going to take her out. Those chilling words painted a terrifying picture of just how toxic the situation had become. She also told the court that during their relationship, Chris had been physically violent, punching her in the stomach twice and pushing her down a set of stairs. Even though she didn't file a police report at the time, the claims hit even harder, because all of this allegedly happened while Chris was still on probation for his 2009 assault case with Rihanna. Back then, he pled guilty to making criminal threats and felony assault, taking a plea deal that had him doing over 1,000 hours of community service instead of jail time. By 2015, he had finally finished that punishment. But instead of learning his lesson, the same toxic behavior seemed to play out all over again. Fans couldn't believe the pattern, and that's why to this day, people keep dragging him for never changing his ways. And the obsession? It didn't stop even after the court granted Karrueche a 5-year restraining order. The second it expired, Chris went right back to hovering over her online, tracking blogs that posted her pictures, liking her posts, and making sure the world saw that he was still watching. In 2024, when Karrueche dropped some new photos looking flawless, Chris couldn't resist. He hit that like button, letting everybody know he still hadn't moved on. But the biggest proof of his jealousy came out during his feud with Quavo. On his 11/11 album, Chris dropped a track called Freak, where he threw shots over the fact that Quavo had dated Karrueche. He rapped, okay, no messing on my ex ain't gonna make a sequel, sipping that 1942 cause I don't do no Quavo. Freaky Beast says she liked Casamigos. Not the Migos fans instantly caught the shade. He was salty, still bitter, and still dragging Karrueche's name into his music years later. And that, right there, shows you. Chris Brown may have the fame, the hits, and the spotlight. But when it comes to Karrueche Tran, he's still haunted by what he lost. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives just like this. And trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming next. See you in the next one.